everybody, and welcome here to the channel. Today I want to talk with you guys about my experience here in Mexico. This is the city of Mexico City. The camera is not very good, but let me try to show you. So yeah. I wanted to record during the day so that you'd have a good view of the city, but unfortunately the camera isn't the best, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so the video of today will be a bit of a rambling in a soft-spoken voice. I want to talk with you about my experience that I've had here, talk about my thoughts on the food, the people, the city, the things that I visited, the culture, just general things like that, that I was able to experience. So I actually made a list of stuff just to make sure that I don't really forget to say anything. And yeah, so to give you guys a context, for starters, this is my third time that I come to Mexico, more specifically to Mexico City, and I've been coming for work reasons. So this is the third and also the last time that I am coming, and so that's why I thought it would also be appropriate to do this video right now at this time. So I want to talk with you about first my thoughts that I had of Mexico and what is or isn't as I thought. So I didn't have many specific ideas of what I thought Mexico or Mexico City would be like. I had in my head the notion that the city and the country in general isn't very safe, and it can be quite dangerous. And to be honest, I think I was never in a dangerous situation here, but the more I hear local people talking about it, the more I think that the situation is actually a bit worse than I thought, and I think that's one of the less positive points of Mexico. The way I see it, it's probably one of the most negative aspects of the country is definitely the safety. More things that I had thought about. I had in my head an idea of Mexico food that is completely wrong of reality, and I don't know if this is something general. When I thought of Mexico food, I thought of burritos with minced meat inside and maybe cheddar cheese, and it's absolutely nothing like that. But the food is also something that I will talk about a bit further ahead in the video. But yeah, it's one idea that I had that is just completely wrong, and maybe more people share this wrong notion of what is exactly Mexico food. And yeah, I think I didn't have any other ideas of what Mexico would be like. I think I came with a very open mind about it. So now I will talk about my first impressions of when I first arrived in Mexico. So I first came, the first time it was in around, it was September of last year, so September of 2021. And I think the first impression that I got when I arrived to Mexico was seeing the airport, and it was a bit confusing to me, the organization of the place. And I later realized that I think lack of planning can be a bit of part of the country, and at the same time it is also something that gives it personality and charm, so to say, in other ways. For example, when I got out the airport, I remember just on my way from the airport to the hotel for the first time, I remember just seeing the streets, and especially a bit more the outskirts of the city. So this is the very dense part of the city, but of course in the outskirts it's not so much, with these huge buildings and all of that. And I just remember thinking, and every day that I see the city and I go for a walk, I think the same. The city is just so colorful and everything seems like it lacks planning. For example, you can have a very tall building next to a small one. There's maybe not that kind of planning like maybe we have in European countries, but I think that's also part of what makes it so beautiful, the way I see it, because everything is just looks like it is kind of unplanned, and maybe even not sure how to put it, but at the same time it's just so beautiful and so colorful. You can have a very neon green house right next to a very pink house, and it's just amazing. And another thing that I see a lot in the city, and that I saw and that I noticed, was just a lot of vegetation everywhere, a lot of plants, and that's something that I really like about the city as well. So those were my my first impressions of Mexico. So I will now talk a bit about what I visited. Mind you, I am in Mexico City, which isn't exactly the most touristic part of Mexico. I think most people that visit Mexico usually go to Cancun because it has the beaches and many other things to visit. But Mexico City also has a lot of things to see, and that I visited and that I enjoyed a lot visiting. So one of the first things that I visited in Mexico were the pyramids, which were the Teotihuacan pyramids, and it's just this enormous place, and it kind of looks like a city made of pyramids, kinda. It's very pretty. It felt like a very spiritual place. I'm a bit sad that when I went, I didn't know that there were air balloon travels to see everything from behind. I didn't do that. I regret that a bit, but I didn't know at the time. But just visiting it was very nice, and if anyone ever comes to Mexico City, I would honestly recommend visiting it because it's very pretty and just huge. Another thing that I visited were the markets. I visit some markets which are artisanal markets, and it's something that I also enjoyed a lot and that I really like to see in general, because I really like handcraft stuff, and they have just a lot of it. I bought mugs before that I actually used in a video, which was the luck game video. I will put the link here in case you want to see it. And they have a lot of stuff to sell and to see. They have a lot of fabrics, stuff made with fabrics, handmade, of course, like scarves. They have like the ponchos. They have handmade shirts that I actually bought that are very traditional as well. They have a lot of things to see, but mind you as well that if you look foreign, one thing that might happen for sure is that if people notice that you are foreign, they will probably increase the price. So when I knew that, and also since I visited so many markets, I tried to haggle a bit the price down when I knew that it was overpriced, so it's something that you can do in the city if you have a notion of the prices, of course. But yeah, I really liked the marketplace. Another thing that I visited that is actually very near here, the center of the city, is the Chapultepec park. It's like this huge park and it has so many stuff to see inside. It has a lake, it has a castle that I actually never got to visit because it was always closed, so I never got the option to visit it. But I visited museums inside. There is a museum that is of the history here of Mexico and different cultures. It's very, very interesting. There is also the president's house. I was extremely lucky to be able to visit the president's house, because the current president didn't want to visit in that house. So I think it's one of the first times, if not the first time, that house is actually open for visit. And I was able to visit it. I'm very, very lucky for it, because maybe next president will be already living there again. So, more things that I visited. I also visited the Somaya Museum, which is actually free. I was very surprised with the fact that the museum was free to visit, and it has so much inside to see, and just the building from the outside is so gorgeous, so gorgeous. I loved it a lot, and I was able to visit it several times because actually I was working kind of nearby that building, so it was very, very nice to be able to do that. And lastly, the last thing that I want to talk about that I visited was Acapulco, which is also actually a different city. It's not here in Mexico City, it's a different city, and it's a beach place. I was very lucky to be able to go there. It was actually the local people from here, from Mexico, that were my work colleagues, that actually offered to take me there, and of course I said yes. And well, the fact that the people here are so helpful and so nice, actually something that I also want to talk about. But first, Acapulco. but I was able to go there because of the people from here, because of Mexican people. And Acapulco was just such an amazing experience. I went there over a weekend. It was like 5-hour drive from here. It was still quite a bit, but so worth it. I visited mainly the beach there, but I felt like it was so much more than just the beach, The ocean, the water is amazing. I watched the sunset there as well, and it was an incredible experience. The weather there, it was so hot and so humid, and because it's like that every year, all year is extremely hot and extremely humid, they have incredible vegetation there. I saw plants that I think I had never seen before. They were just so gorgeous, and I felt like it was a weekend for me that I was looking everywhere and just feeling very contemplative all the time. It was just so nice. It was one of the happiest weekends of my life, to be honest. Very nice, and I do recommend people to go visit if they get a chance to do it. I actually went to the non-touristic part of Acapulco, so we pretty much had the beach just for ourselves. It was very nice. And yeah, so I will now shift and talk about the people from Mexico, because as I said, I was able to go to Acapulco because the people from here offered to take me there, and it's one of the things that most surprised me here in Mexico was just really Mexican people, because they are such a nice a nice people. Sorry, I'm saying people a lot, but I don't find another word. I met the guys from here, the Mexican people from here. They were so nice all the time. They felt extremely heartwarming, and it's just a country that I think is extremely fun. People are so happy, so fun all the time, always dancing. I felt that dancing was also a big part of the culture. Because in Acapulco, the people were actually teaching me how to dance and all of that. It was so nice, and they do love to party. It's one thing that I just got to know about Mexico people. People here love to party and love to drink, and they do know how to make really good drinks. Like, I've drank a lot of mojitos here. It's just delicious, so good. And yeah, I wish I would just say more about the people here, because it was honestly really one of the things that surprised me the most. Because I think in Portugal we are considered to be a country that is very heartwarming to visitors and to people that come from outside, and we are very nice in general, and I think we are very known for it. But I actually think that Mexican people beat us to it. They are just amazing. So yeah, if you are Mexican and if you are watching this video, please leave a comment. I am beyond happy to be able to meet all the people that I met here. Really, truly. So another thing that I wanted to talk about, so it was the food, because the food here, it was completely different from what I had imagined, like I talked before. And I think I had an idea of a very Americanized, not sure that's a word, Americanized version of Mexican food, which is like thinking of burritos or tacos with minced meat, with cheddar cheese, maybe with lettuce and stuff like that. Guys, no, it has nothing to do with that. It's very different. So here in Mexico, they do eat a lot of tortillas or however, and it's, at least in Mexico City, it's mainly corn tortillas, which, to be honest, I wasn't very fond of, especially the first times, but eventually I learned to like it, especially if it has a lot of sauces on top. Another thing about Mexican food, very spicy. It was very hard for me at first to tolerate it because I wasn't able to tolerate spices that much. Now I can eat it without a problem. Well, unless it's like the deadly spices. They also have that. Well, they have all kinds of spices here. But one thing that I learned also here is that never ask a Mexican person if the food is spicy, because they will probably tell you no. And when you eat it, your mouth will be on fire anyway. Okay, so just don't ask. It will be spicy, okay? It will be, trust me. Everything will be spicy here. And you learn to like it, and you learn to tolerate the spicy. And as I was saying about the Mexican food, I was trying to explain what their Mexican food really is about. So a lot of tortillas, they eat a lot of chicken, especially the shredded chicken. They use it in a lot of plates, and they use a lot of cream, which I think it's not like the heavy cream that we have. I think it's somehow different, even though I don't really know what's different about it, but I think it is different, the cream that they use in the food. And they also like cheese. They also put a lot of cheese in the food, but not cheddar cheese. They have a specific cheese here that is the Oaxaca cheese. That is delicious. I had never tasted it before. I only got to know it here. It's so good. It's so good. I am just already feeling sad that I am leaving for the last time. I don't know when I will be returning, if I will return here. I hope so one day. But I will miss this cheese. Well, I will miss a lot of things, but I will miss this cheese because it's so good. And yeah, there were several dishes from here that I learned to like a lot. Breakfast for me was also something that I had to adapt to a bit because they have very strong breakfasts right in the morning, and I'm just used to some toasts with butter and that's it. In Portugal, that's what I eat. But here, no. You start with eggs, you start with spicy food, tortillas for breakfast, all of that. And there is one specific food from here that I learned. Well, I didn't learn to. I just loved it the first time that I ate it, which is chilaquiles. Oh my god, it's so good. So good. Very spicy as well. But that goes without saying. Everything's spicy, I told you. But yeah, chilaquiles is very good, very good. And yeah, there were other dishes that I liked. There were also some eggs that I used to have here at the hotel quite a lot, which are shakshuka eggs. I'm not sure how to say it. It's delicious. It's like poached eggs. And they also use cactus in their food. I was very surprised because I didn't know that you'd eat cactus. They do. It's delicious. It's good. Oh, another ingredient that they use a lot here is black beans, and they make just a paste with the black beans that they make it spicy as well somehow. They do. And they use that black paste mainly to put on tortillas, and it's very good. I love black beans, so I was very happy with it as well. And yeah, I think that was mainly what I wanted to talk about in terms of food, in terms of the people, what I visited. Oh, just one more thing that I visited that I forgot to talk about. which was actually this last weekend, which was the last weekend that I stay here in Mexico. I went to Piedra Ejada, and during this time of the year there are millions of butterflies that migrate here to Mexico, to that specific place. And oh my god, it was just something that I had never seen anything like that before. Millions of butterflies flying over my head, many coming to me. And I grabbed quite a few. Not grabbed, they would put it on my head, of course. They would climb. And they were very gorgeous, huge butterflies. They are monarch butterflies, and they come all the way from Canada to here. So yeah, if you ever come during this time of the year, which is February, March, I think you have a chance to go to that place and visit those butterflies. It's very, very pretty, amazing. And yeah, so I think the last thing that I will just talk about, I had in my paper to talk about recommendations here in Mexico. I won't be talking a lot about the situation of the country in terms of corruption and safety in general. I don't really want to focus on that, but I do recommend to be careful for the people that are not from here. The people that are here, they know the reality of the country, but people that come from outside to visit the country, be careful. Never, I don't know the situation of the taxis outside of Mexico City, but one thing that I learned about Mexico City is to never get into a taxi. I never did. Always use an Uber, because taxis are not safe at all. I think this is actually one of the most dangerous cities to get into a taxi, so don't do it. Another thing to be careful when walking in the city, try not to walk in the night. Try to stick to the main streets. Don't go to streets that you don't really know about. If you're unsure, try to get an Uber. And just it's a bit sad, but it's the reality, and it's just especially for someone that came from Europe, it's a very, very different reality when it comes to safety. So to anyone that comes, be careful in regards to that. Always play safe. But yeah, guys, that was my take on Mexico. This is a city that I will miss a lot, and a country that I will miss a lot, and I am leaving connections here that I am quite sad about. And this is the last week that I am staying here, and I am feeling so nostalgic about it. And I have been working for several other countries. I have traveled to other countries, mainly in Europe, and I never felt the connection that I felt with the people here, with the culture. People are just heartwarming, fun, so nice. And yeah, so yeah, I won't be getting much longer than I already am. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and let me know if you visited, if you are curious in visiting, if you have any questions that I may be able to answer. Go ahead and leave a comment. If you are from Mexico, go ahead and leave a comment. I would be so happy to see Mexican people in my comment section. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next